Hi, everyone, and welcome to our Monday morning Global Abundance Call. Thanks for being on the call or listening. Really appreciate it. Today, what I want to talk about for this week is money and how money impacts us and what real abundance is. I was looking at a quote from Esther and Jerry Hicks from Abraham, and the quote says, "Your action has nothing to do with your abundance. Your abundance is a response to your vibration. Of course, your belief is part of your vibration. So if you believe that action is part of what brings you your abundance, then you've got to unravel that." And it's a long quote, but it's a great quote. When I read that quote, especially the first time I read it, it kind of shook me a little bit. I was like, well, wait a second. If I don't take action, where is it? Where's the abundance going to come from? And if you look at abundance is not the art of making money, but it's the art of knowing how to live. And real abundance is so much more than money. A healthy bottom line does not equate with a healthy and abundant state of mind. And the evidence of psychological and spiritual poverty amongst wealthy people, we've all heard about. And it's not that money is an evil or that it makes one person more powerful or better than another. But it's interesting how we value the people who have money. And really the people who have money or who have money are really utilizing a tool, and the tool being money. And when we equate money with something more than just wealth and the fact of a tool, like some people might be able to sing better than other people, or some people may be able to draw better or be a better artist than others. Now that can be an abundance of talent, right? And it doesn't mean that someone who draws better equates to a better person than you. But looking at our thoughts and our concepts around money, it's really important. And real abundance is something more than having lots of money. If you put yourself in alignment with the universe energetically, when you're in the flow, and if you're not really clear about what the flow is, the flow is something like a energy wave, or when synchronicities, when things start happening for you, when things come easily, you're in the flow. But when you're in the flow and you're aligned with the universe or energetically aligned, it takes care of you and your abundance. And it's not that you're to sit on the sofa and do nothing. And it's not that you're supposed to climb up the top of a mountain and meditate or pray for, years on end. But it's about truly your beliefs and what you experience as abundance. It's not necessary for you to earn one more dollar, get a better job, buy a new home or a car, or go back to school to experience abundance. It's all that's required is that you become aware of the inner process through which you create an experience of lack and struggle in your life, and how you experience that, and what you can do about it, and refrain it or recorrect or repattern your subconscious around it. And we've had lots of conversations here on our Monday morning abundance call about our subconscious, right? And you want to really take time to look and see how you feel about abundance and what that really means to you. Feelings of abundance and gratitude are natural to being human. They don't need to be added or put on. And we've only got to become aware of how we are resisting or inhibiting our natural state. You'll go around life and you see people who are naturally happy, or who are naturally in the flow of abundance. And we have to accept responsibility for ourselves, that we are the ones that create our own experience of abundance or lack. And as you know, no individual operates in a vacuum, right? We've got our culture and our society completely around us. But it would be crazy to deny the impact and the values of organizations of our culture, our society, have put on us. And in order to secure the ever-expanding consumption that we seem to have, upon which, you know, health depends, our modern culture rigorously promotes lack consciousness. You know, we have commercials that tell us we need to buy things, or that we need to want things. We need to look a certain way. We need to be thin. We need to have this Chanel. You know, as women, we need to have this Chanel bag to, you know, to match our Gucci whatever's, to look beautiful, to be attractive to men, so that we can find the perfect mate who will provide for us. You know, if you look at that thinking and that cultural aspect, we can go crazy. I mean, you can see why there's so many people, you know, chasing their tails. You know, it really has me convinced that, you know, we do work we don't want to do, because we've become convinced that there's a scarcity of good jobs and that we can't create our own work. And so while we spend time getting more and more things, the feeling of abundance keeps eluding us. And in addition to that, the roles of values of our society have been promoting a psychology of lack within the individual, within us individually, and our society. You know, it even possesses institutional barriers to our creative development and financial independence. And all this, you know, all these words and all this that I'm saying is that the ego is what produces our psychology of lack. And the psychology of abundance is one that we can overcome, that we can have, and we can overcome this lack regardless of the quantity of money that we have. You know, when you look at the way, the feeling of abundance, regardless of how great or meager your checking account is, we can be really clear that we have the mental capacity, we have the physical capacity to experience life abundantly, joyfully, in our health, in our wealth, in our well-being, in our mental, in our relationships. We have this incredible ability to connect and be able to live a life full of material wealth as well as abundant health. It's not, you know, and I want to be really clear, I'm not saying that we should reject material wealth. I'm all about being wealthy. I'm all about having all the toys and playing. But those toys and living in a great place and having all those things aren't contingent upon my abundance. So there's a different psychology here, the way that your mind, the way that you interact with that thinking. It's like I don't have to have this before I'm abundant. I don't need to have that before I'm abundant. I can see that my abundance is already present. And especially with money, you know, we can utilize it as a tool. It's not that Oprah is better than all of us because she has so much money, or the Rockefellers, or, you know, anyone of great abundance that's so well known, right? If there's the only difference between them and you is that they manifested, they got really clear what abundance was and started vibrating or aligning their frequency, their thoughts, their subconscious minds, the patterning, their neurons, their whole being with the feeling and the experience, the thoughts of mental health, well-being, abundance, joy, you know, doing what they love. and making their difference, their way through the world, and experiencing it. This weekend, a friend of mine went for a gig to play as a musician, and it didn't turn out anything like what he expected it to turn out, and it showed up totally different. But he still kept the continuity, the thoughts, and the experience of loving to play. And despite things shifting, all the parts of production, the way that they shift, he still kept the space of I love to play. I love to play. And there's, with that, when you face a trial or a tribulation or a hurdle, when you can be present to what you love, when you can be really clear about why you're doing what you're doing and what it has you be able to be present to having it, even though you may not have it. In other words, in my monthly newsletter, which you'll be getting soon if you're on my mailing list, I talk about waiting. And sometimes it feels like it's hard to wait for things to come. And really, we've seen in the Abraham Hicks work, it's not like we have to wait for it to show up. What we have to wait for is to align ourselves vibrationally to our thoughts and our beingness to be the person to have that, and that we deserve that. So, this week, take a really clear look as to how much you believe that you deserve something or that you're worthy of something. And take a look at your thoughts around money. Something that came really clear to me this weekend is that suffering equals pain plus avoidance. And when we avoid looking at how we feel about money or how we feel about abundance, and not get really clear about what am I really thinking about this? What does this really, really mean to me? Or why is this important? What do I want to do with that money? Who am I in the space of money? Who will I be? A friend questioned me this weekend about, who will I be when I have this money? And it's a really good question. Who will you be when you have all the abundance, whether it's health, relationship, an intimate relationship, joy, peace? Who will you be in that? And that's where you can align yourself energetically, your vision boards and all your speaking and your connecting with your community. It's all in and around that vision and who you are. Money can give you freedom from the control of others as a tool. But your mind and your alignment with your energetic senses and yourself will give you freedom with everything. Be really clear that money is a tool, and give yourself time to appreciate the things in life and the spirit of the innocence that you have within you and the wonder within you. And the more that you embrace that, the more powerful you will be, and the more easily your abundance will flow to you. So I hope you have a really great week. And if you have any questions, please feel free to email me at lbrown@consciousstrategies.com. I'm really glad you're on the call and that you're listening. Really appreciate it, and I hope that it makes a difference in your life. Have a really great week. Talk to you soon.